That's the news this Thursday morning. Thank you for joining us. Tune in for Channel 3 News this evening starting at 5:30 with the first report. Now let's go to Today in Cleveland with Del Donahoo and Tom Haley.
Why don't you go dance in the valley? You could be less obvious that way.
I got to tell you something. Do you remember the other morning we played the Orange Blossom Special?
You mean those two rusty bars being rubbed together?
That was played by Jimmy Sturr, who has the Chicago sound.
Yeah.
Did you check the Emmys on Tuesday night? Jimmy Sturr and that band the Grammys, won a Grammy.
Were they distorted on the Grammy, too?
Oh, you just don't recognize good music.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the breakfast table. Gather around. We're ready.
This is Del Donahoo. I'm Tom Haley, and here's Hank.
And for you, Mr. Haley, I have a bag full of breakfast from good folks out at Clementine's in Olmsted Falls, Lynn and Bev and all those good breakfast timers. These are deluxe extra special. You're going to have to unwrap them and share them as time goes along.
Okay, what is...
This looks pretty good. That looks better.
The program has just improved 100%. What is Clementine's?
Clementine's is a coffee parlor, which is right across from Grand Pacific Junction, the renovation out there, right in the middle of Olmsted Falls. Delightful place to have a piano player. We had a wonderful time. Soup and salads and sandwiches.
Delbert Ruth Rebecki, who's one of our really
I know.
loyal breakfast timers.
Yeah.
She picked a gag out of Reminisce about a wife and the hubby, and the wife says to the hubby, "Didn't I tell you to notice when the soup boiled over?" And the husband said it did. About 10:30. I noticed.
That's my way of cooking.
Yeah. We're at 6:31 at the breakfast table.
Okay, and as far as we can tell, a marathon bargaining session to settle the Bay Village teacher strike continues. No telephone calls are being taken at the place where they're meeting. No telephones being answered. An apartment house fire on Cleveland's west side takes one life and hospitalized 2 other people. 5 Ohio department stores, including 4 in Greater Cleveland, are changing hands. And in sports, the Suns burned the Cavaliers last night out there in Phoenix, 103-100. We'll have a quiet visit with the Dells Folks artist, who at 92 is looking back over his career.
Wow.
This is the man who once played football for Knute Rockne.
Knute Rockne,
He did, indeed.
Delbert, this morning it's cloudy. It's crisp out there, but you know what? It's a mite warmer than it was yesterday.
Just a mite.
Just a mite. And if you're walking west this morning, you'll have the wind right straight into your face.
Martha's coffee's a mite warmer than yesterday, too. Wow.
The wind's out of the west at 7. It's not all that strong. The humidity's at 73%. The barometer's 29.73 inches, and it's falling. And down at the home of the team that's at the place where I wish I were this morning, it's a couple of 3-irons. It's 33 degrees.
Well, see, if you'd established the tradition of going to Tucson instead of going down there to Myrtle Beach to play that silly game, you'd be going with me.
May I go with you?
No, I'm taking Martha. Okay, let's check the temperatures this morning over whatever you're having for breakfast, and I hope it's as good as what we have. Sally is up early down there in Worcester, 36 degrees, and can you believe this lovely lady is up and making fried mush with maple syrup for her family?
Yeah.
I can't either. 31 degrees, Candy Stokes says on the Can Do It Farm in Ashtabula County. They're having Honey Nut Cheerios and nothing else, honey. Millie, shame on you, Millie, slept in again on the Big Prairie. Joanne, 32 degrees out in Field School in Portage County at school newspaper headline and the deadline day, so everybody's uptight. Paul, 37 degrees, and Starry under the old bare ash tree in Sagamore Hills, and Sean, 35 degrees in Dover, New Philadelphia.
TV3, National Weather Service color radar this morning. Nothing to report. A little bit of ground clutter in that little white dot over Akron.
Looks like a golf ball on
that looks like that
south
balloon
green.
that never went up to me. All right, here's how Thursday shapes up. It's going to be a partly to mostly cloudy day. Any flurries that occur should occur in the snow belt. According to Larry, they ought to be out around Ashtabula. Today's high will be only in the upper 30s, winds out of the west at 10 to 20 miles an hour, and then they'll become northwest. Tonight, cloudy, a chance of snow toward morning. A low tonight about 30. Northwest winds around 10, but then they're going to become west. And then tomorrow, according to Larry, cloudy, colder. We're going to have periods of snow or flurries, and he sees the possibility that we could have possibly an inch, but that's not for sure. And the high for tomorrow will be, he thinks, somewhere in the around 34 or 33 instead of getting all the way up to 40. So we have a little conflict there between Larry and the National Weather Service, but I'll tell you what, Larry knows his stuff.
Well, of course he knows his stuff.
That's why he's working here, right? That's what I figured you'd say.
Now, as we put on our traffic hats, let's greet breakfast timers that Martha and I met out at Getty's in Westlake last night.
We haven't been there in a while.
We talked about Senator Bob Dole. They saw him strolling on the beach down in Florida. And greet especially that beautiful blonde lady from Florida. She has no idea who either of us is. But isn't she a lovely lady? Yeah.
Ah,
she's a breakfast timer now.
Huh? How about 8 o'clock, okay?
She has a boyfriend. I'd be careful.
I knew you'd start talking about women, you forget the traffic.
Okay, RT trains and buses, they're out of the barns on time because Bruno says so, and you can understand if Bruno says it, it's a fact. And you should have no troubles out there because he tells you that there are no weather conditions to interfere. You'll be having a good trip.
Delbert, because you're going to Tucson, Chuck Kuhnmuller has drawn a series of cartoons, and the cartoons have to do with very common baseball expressions. So we're going to show you one this morning, and this is a really simple one, and I know you have it in just seconds.
Deck of cards, and I don't know, son, well, I don't know.
What's that thing being drawn up on top?
A circle.
Now think about baseball and the guy that's waiting to hit.
On deck.
The on-deck circle.
The on-deck circle. Thank you, Chuck.
You really know baseball, don't you, Delbert? I can see where you'd be a big help to the team.
And I don't want Mrs. Straw to know that her beloved husband, Ronnie, just walked in.
Okay, back in a moment as soon as we return on Thursday. Delbert gets himself to the news. Did I win the 12 mil?
You'll have to wait and see.
Oh,
I forgot.
For the next 3 days, used cars for $1. That's right, used cars for $1 this weekend at Victory Chevy Olds Geo in Amherst. Buy any new Oldsmobile, Geo, or Chevy car or truck. We'll give you the rebate, we'll still give you our large discount, and we'll sell you a used car for $1. You can choose from 50 used cars priced at $1, like an 85 Cutlass Calais, an 85 Ford Escort, an 85 Buick Century. They're all $1 this weekend at Victory Chevy Olds Geo. A great graduation gift. Hurry for the best selection. Don't pass up your used car for $1 this weekend at Victory Chevy Olds Geo.
In Amherst, Ohio.
I wasn't having fun anymore. I mean, the fun was gone. I was obsessed with alcohol and drugs. And that was my every waking minute was either I was drunk, hungover, or working to make money so I could stay drunk. When they talk about surrender to win, you know, I know what that is because I got to that point of where I had to surrender everything. I had to quit fighting. I always thought I could be in control. I could make myself better. I couldn't.
Call Lakeland Institute. It's the place to turn.
A relaxed working atmosphere and a strong dedication to produce a first-class product has made Cleveland's original mattress factory an overwhelming success story. Since going into operation in June of 1990, Cleveland's original mattress factory is producing over 15,000 mattresses a year and growing. A locally owned company with a commitment to its customers. Cleveland's original mattress factory, working in Ohio to produce a good night's sleep for you.
At the Original Mattress Factory, our slogan says it all. We make mattresses right at our store. We offer the best in quality bedding and materials, and they're as good or better than the national brands. The difference is the price. Our no-frills operation eliminates the middlemen and allows you to save hundreds of dollars.
I guarantee if you buy a mattress from us, you'll get a great night's sleep and the best value in town.
We're open 7 days a week at 5350 Brook Park Road.
Midas gives you a free inspection of your exhaust system and then a guaranteed estimate. When we give you a price, you can believe it. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Delbert, it's 6:38. We've got some kind of breakfast here from Clementine's. What is it?
Well, give me the
It
lid.
says chocolate macadamia brownies.
Oh, and those are to go to battle over, I'll tell you.
Do they have any idea of the number of people we try to feed here? There are only 3 of those little things.
I knew you would say that. Could they afford it? That's what you normally say, but those are rich.
Hey, before you start the news, I talked to Al Fisher yesterday, who used to be one of our producer directors.
Call the shots here.
He's down in Disneyland, they call it, in Orlando?
Disney World, I believe it is.
Okay. He owns the original Amateur Hour. Willard was missing 2 days from the Today Show this week because Willard was down shooting the shows. The big story of that is Al would like, he loves Cleveland, he'd like to bring the show here and shoot it for 13 weeks of shows.
Well, let's invite him up.
So he says, once the Clevelander, you never stop being one.
We're amateurs. We could get on that.
And he lies about other things, too. He was thinking of starring us in the first show.
We qualify as those amateurs, no doubt about that.
Would you do the news?
Why not? Bay Village teachers will be back on the picket lines today as efforts continue to settle their 2-week strike. Bargaining teams have been holed up in a federal mediator's office all night after being sent there yesterday by County Judge Terrence O'Donnell. They were under instructions to keep at it until an agreement is reached. The Bay teachers walked out on February 12th over a number of issues, including pay and health insurance. Mediator David Thorley said yesterday that some progress has been made. Several hundred teachers and school administrators demonstrated at the State House in Columbus last night. That was several hours after Governor Voinovich held a news conference on education. School professionals say if the governor continues to make cuts in the state's education budget, students will be disadvantaged for the rest of their lives. The governor says he's pressuring schools to make the most of their money and improve test scores.
You see, we got to prove to people in this state that we're taking those taxpayer dollars and squeezing everything we can, that we're changing the system, that we're not wasting people's money anymore, and that, by God, we're going to deliver services, that competency tests are going to go up. Now, Cleveland, you know, they didn't increase 1% in their competency test. The only district in the state, and they get more money per capita than any other district, and there wasn't one increase in their competency test.
Money is not the total answer, but it certainly is a substantial answer to some of the things that we need to do for reform. And the position of the coalition is not necessarily more will be better, but certainly if we don't have enough and it has continued to be cut, we are going to be in some very drastic situations.
Both the governor and school administrators agree that the state system of funding education needs to be changed. The governor hopes to have a proposal by the end of the year. In business news, Joseph Horn Company has sold its 5 Ohio department stores to Edward DeBartolo Corporation and Dillard's, the chain that owns Higbee's. The sale is part of a settlement of Horn's lawsuit against 2 companies. DeBartolo and Dillard have agreed to buy the 4 Cleveland area Horn stores and the store in Boardman, Ohio. Some jobs will be lost, but no specific numbers have been released as yet. Horns will keep 10 other stores in Erie and the Pittsburgh area. There was a fatal apartment house fire on Cleveland's west side late last night. 1 man died in the flames just before midnight at Montclair Apartments on State Road. 2 other people are hospitalized. One of them, a man, is reported in critical condition. This is tape taken by an amateur photographer. Authorities say the fire of unknown origin caused property damage estimated at $50,000. Relatives of a 19-year-old Parma woman who was stabbed to death by her husband say he is getting just what he deserves. 23-year-old James Ziga was sentenced to 15 years to life in prison for stabbing his wife, Mickey Lynn. During the sentencing, the judge recommended that Ziga never be given parole. Parma police found Mickey Lynn's body at the couple's apartment in November. She had been stabbed repeatedly. Cleveland and Great Lakes boating interests have lost a treasured friend. Al Mastix of Bay Village, once regarded as the top yachtsman on Lake Erie, has died at age 88. By profession, Mr. Mastix was an attorney, and we extend our condolences to his wife, Mary Ann. She's a good friend and a highly regarded concert pianist.
Yeah, and I think he also wrote a column in the Plain Dealer.
He did for many years.
I remember that byline.
He was a fine and much-loved man.
Wow.
Now, looking ahead, we invite you to join Leon Bibb and Connie Deacon today at 5:30 for the next First Report. They'll have information on how to get better life-saving help if you should suffer a heart attack. All of the day's news and weather, of course, and a friendly Dell's folks visit to the bake shop at Gent, down there in the valley. A community meeting place on the banks of Yellow Creek.
You learned how to say it, huh?
Gent.
We're at 643 at the breakfast table. What happened last night in Super Lotto? I'll tell you one thing that happened. I didn't get one number again.
I didn't buy no ticket.
I just want to come to work once after I won 12 mil. But here's what happened. In last night's Ohio Super Lotto game, there was one winning ticket for the $12 million jackpot. It's the ticket with these numbers, 1, 9, 11, 25, 30, and 38. The winner will collect 26 annual payments of $461,538 before taxes. And in the kicker game, there was no winner, and I got shut out again.
And in sports,
Oh, I forgot.
We'll open that while I do sports. Go ahead.
Do it while you're doing the sports.
In sports, the Cavaliers lost a tough one out at Phoenix last night, 103-100 to the Suns, despite 32 points for Brad Doherty. The Suns won it with a pair of free throws with 10 seconds to play after a weird out-of-bounds play. The Cavaliers, idle tonight, play the Lakers in Los Angeles tomorrow night. In Big Ten play, the Buckeyes, after 2 straight losses to Iowa and Indiana, bounced back to beat Purdue last night at West Lafayette 71-64. Mark Baker led the way with 17 points. In other conference games, Wisconsin upset Michigan 96-78, and Illinois beat Northwestern 92-65. Be careful of that cake. That's good stuff. You took the frosting off. In area games, Kent State lost to Eastern Michigan 67-65 in overtime, and in tournament play, Lake Erie 92, Dyke 87.
I'm kind of embarrassed because I pulled the top off, but now,
sure did.
Now it's not going to look all that good. There it is. What is it, Delbert?
Well, it's Lucifer cake.
Oh, yeah.
Lucifer cake. Sinful, in other words, right?
Well, since I took the top off, I'll just eat the top, okay? Is that all right with you?
Before you get into your readings, I want to tell you that Martha and I had a grand old time last night with members of the Rocky River Junior Women's Club and their guests over the Rocky River Library. We talked about working in Ohio. We talked about beautiful Ohio. What lovely, lovely people they are. Well, I mean, the ladies are lovely. We had a good time. A nice, vigorous group. I have great faith in the future of Ohio with good people like that.
What were you and Martha doing with a nice, vigorous group?
I was wondering about that. They kept me up too late, but
Delbert,
I forgive you.
We're at 6:45 at the breakfast table, and someone is 60 today who's throwing a party at Disney World in Florida.
You can't fool me because I remember being with her last year on her 59th.
And who was it?
Oh, Liz Taylor.
Yeah, Liz Taylor, and she's invited Michael Jackson to be
Hey, we party a lot together.
I bet you do. You want to get your name in the social notes? Just let us know a month early. You don't send any pictures back.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, let's take a look at Kelly Dull. You know what about Kelly? Kelly loves kindergarten at Spring Valley Elementary School in Elyria. And this morning, Kelly is 6. She looks cute in glasses, doesn't she,
though?
Coventry High School freshman in Akron, Jenny Ware, is 15 this morning.
Hi, Jenny.
And she wants a career in art, and I'll bet she does it. Now, Delbert, they grow them pretty in Amherst. Woohoo. Sharon Skolaric is 28. The lucky guy she's going to marry in September is Jeff Perkins.
He looks happy, doesn't he?
No wonder he's smiling. And guess what? I'm sure you know this person, Delbert. This man, Adolph Thomas Roll of Ashtabula, was fire chief there from 1945 to 63. 80 this morning is 100 years old.
How about that? He paid
Good-looking man, too. That is not 80, but that's me at the age of 100. Those guys are awful. I don't get no respect. A cloudy day will be somewhere around the middle 30s, a chance of snow toward morning tomorrow. By tomorrow, with flurries and snow, we might get an inch, and then it's going to be warmer over the weekend. Right now at Hopkins, it's 35. Down at the lakefront, it's 33.
Quickly, my trivia question about Ohio. Think about this a little, and you'll have the correct answer, undoubtedly, for the first time. What became the first college music department in the nation in 1865?
I am going to say Oberlin.
That's right.
Oh,
the Oberlin Conservatory of Music.
That's 1 out of 50.
We should have a fanfare to play when he finally got one. Now, there comes a time in life when we all have to say, hey, I've done it, I'm going to hang him up.
Huh? Did you get a call, too?
Well, it comes a time when it's time to retire. And what do you think when you look back over your life? Well, here's what one of Dell's folks thinks about when he looks back over his career. A nice, nice man.
I've been trying, let's put it that way, to be an artist. And as to whether or no I'm worthy of that name, I don't know.
Visit Norbert Lenz in his Willoughby Hills apartment, and you know he's an artist. All this is his work. However, at age 92, Mr. Lenz says his hands, which served him well as a football player for Newt Rockne at Notre Dame, and then so long as an artist, can no longer create the scenes that his mind imagines. But he takes pleasure in remembering his past accomplishments with the brushes.
I don't think anybody has a greater satisfaction when you finally finish something. That's a victory. You get what I mean?
Sure.
His colors are really vivid, and the way he mixes colors is very impressive as far as I'm concerned. My thoughts in art trend to the simpler, where you have the strikers. I'm very fond of this painting. We had this in our home for a while. So it's that type of art that impresses me. My wife goes to the more modern.
And among his 120 paintings and collages is something to please most any artistic taste.
This one of actress Anne Margaret is a favorite of his.
She, I thought, was a very fine actress.
Have you met her?
No, no, no. Never came close.
As a human being, Mr. Lenz says he's contented in retirement at age 92. As an artist, he's modest as he assesses his long career.
What are my reactions? That I could have done a lot better.
But I think most people would say Norbert Lenz did just fine. Del Donahoo in Willoughby Hills. Wouldn't it be great to have talent like that?
Yeah, and never look back. Back in a moment, a Gaelic prayer. Some terrible jokes. We'll check out the markets.
And
anything else? Oh,
I could give you
some of my cake
brownie.
for chance?
I tell you, those, as I say, those are little battle boys.
What is this?
Get your hands out.
At first, I was angry. I wanted the hospital closed down and all the doctors suspended.
Compensation for malpractice is simple justice.
Really make them pay for what they've done. That's what you first think. But I don't want revenge. I just want what's right.
Nuremberg Plevin has represented over 50,000 personal injury victims.
I called Nuremberg Plevin because who's going to tell me what's right? The doctor's attorney?
Attorneys at law since 1929.
This weekend, Ganley stores are again bringing 600 used cars to one location. Ganley Chrysler Plymouth at West 130th and Pearl in Middleburg Heights. With prices like never before, including 170 cars under $3,000. 90 Dodge Shadows and Plymouth Sundances from $118 a month. 90 Buick Skylarks from $128 a month. 25 minivans, including an 85 Plymouth Voyager, only $29.95. Who's got your used car this weekend? Ganley has it. Ganley Chrysler in Middleburg Heights at West 130th and Pearl.
When you see news, call the Channel 3 tip line.
Formula 3 is the new way to lose weight that everyone can afford.
I'm ready to make a change.
Enroll now for an average cost of just $9.55 per week.
Formula 3, Formula 3.
Come on, call us.
Now, Mullinax Ford offers you American quality and value for only $175 a month. We've made a special purchase of these great-looking 92 Tempo GLs, which you can drive home for just $92.50 and pay only $175 a month. And your new Tempo GL comes with automatic transmission, air conditioning, tilt steering wheel, AM/FM stereo, dual electric mirrors, luggage rack, and the Tempo is front-wheel drive for winter safety. Choose from over 400 Tempos, pay just $175 a month. Buy American, build America at Mullinax Ford, East in Wickliffe, West in Amherst.
The #1 cause of death for babies under 1 is respiratory disease. The #1 cause of hope is the American Lung Association. Please help us. It's a matter of life and breath.
You see that little baby?
Our really masculine hats, 1930 era, alert you to the upcoming production of The Women at Clegg Playhouse in Westlake. The comedy drama for both sexes opens tomorrow night through March 21st. The play is about collective equality, says director Ann Daw. She also says, I'll put words in her mouth, but you should review it.
Do you remember Claire Boothaloose?
Of course.
That was her show.
No kidding?
Did you know? Yeah.
I didn't
Played on Broadway.
Yep. Awfully beautiful.
Delbert, from an old Gaelic prayer, just a few lines here. I'll take my hat off to read them because I love it. We're getting near St. Patrick's Day, you know that.
You bet.
May the blessing of light be upon you, light without and light within. And all your comings and goings, in all of them, may you ever have a kindly greeting from those you meet along the way. I love the Irish.
I'll bet we'll be hearing a lot of Irish stuff between now and the 17th.
I would say that's a distinct possibility.
Okay, take some more nourishment from clementines, and off we go to the market chores. Soft red winter wheat, 402, shelled yellow corn, $2.55, heavy oats, $1.72, soybeans, $5.51. In the livestock pens, butcher hogs, 50 cents to $1 lower, 220 to 260 pounders. Lamb, let's see, those prices were 40 to 40.50. Lamb steady to $2 higher, choice and prime to 142 pounds shorn with pelts, 59 to 62.50. On Wall Street, the stock market advanced. The Dow Jones gained 25.49 to close at 3283.32 on trading of 240+ million shares.
Okay, someone won 12 mil last night. Yesterday's pick 3, 598, pick 4, 7177. You can see the card game right there. We're running out of time. A program for seniors titled Selling Your Own Home, presented this afternoon from 2 to 3 at the Senior Activity Center at Mayfield and Superior in Cleveland Heights. Local African-American merchants will display their goods at an African-American celebration this evening from 5 to 8:30 at Warrensville Heights Junior High School. The Lakewood Business and Professional Women's Club is going to hold its regular meeting this evening, 6:30 at the Beck Center, and a free public seminar on breast implants held this evening from 6:30 to 9 in Bunce Auditorium of the clinic. We'll come back, give you the weather, recheck the traffic, and leave you with a little bit of inspiration. You think this is my style?
Appears to be a butterfly on your shoulder.
What is on my?
For the next 3 days, used cars for $1. That's right, used cars for $1 this weekend at Bob Morris Pontiac in North Ridgeville. Buy any new Pontiac or GMC truck. We'll give you the rebate, we'll still give you our large discount, and we'll sell you a used car for $1. You can choose from 50 used cars priced at $1, like an 83 Cutlass Supreme, an 85 Buick Skylark, an 84 Grand Marquis. They're all $1 this weekend at Bob Morris Pontiac. A great graduation gift. Hurry for the best selection. Don't pass up your used car for $1 this weekend at Bob Morris Pontiac.
In North Ridgeville.
Even on your busiest days, there's still time for the great taste of Bob Evans Farm's unique tasting burritos and our ready-in-a-minute delicious sausage and biscuit sandwiches. Bob Evans. In minutes, we'll take you down to the farm. Those hard days are easy when you've got Bob Evans on. Bob Evans, down on the farm.
Everything I do is wrong.
Ellen, it's just a glass. It's nothing.
It's not nothing. I don't know what's happening to me. I can't sleep. I can't work. And the kids. John, I need help.
I know, but I don't have all the answers.
Yes, the Ohio Lottery Instant Games. There's many ways to win, as you've got ways to scratch.
Visit the Black History Month Bazaar of the Cleveland Neighborhood Health Services on February 28th and 29th. The bazaar will be held at Huff Health Center starting at 10 a.m.
Rob Drum of Rome, Ohio asks, if I had 50 apples in one hand and 60 apples in the other hand, what would I have?
An octopus.
Extremely big hands. RTA trains and buses out and around on time. You'll have a good rush hour trip. Nothing out there to bother you.
Partly to mostly cloudy during the day. Any flurries in the snow belt, high in the upper 30s. Toward morning, we could get some snow. Low tonight near 30. Cloudy tomorrow, colder. Chance of snow, maybe even an inch in flurries or snow, and a high right around 35. Okay, little old passing thought. Cirrus said this, Delbert. I think I can relate to this. You want to listen to this?
I'm listening.
Okay. I regret often that I have spoken, never that I have been silent.
You can relate to that, yeah.
I wish you a good one filled with lots of love and some peace, too.
Volkswagen goes out to, oh, look at that. Volkswagen goes out to Beechwood today.
Time really does a number on your car. At Mako, we're ready to do a number on your car, too.